All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something I think we all think we understand, but maybe we don't, and that is loving God.
Okay.
And we've got this fascinating YouTube video that we're using as our source material.
Okay.
It's called Secrets to Loving God, and it's from Keila M. Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
And she really kind of like flips the script on how we should think about this and what it truly means, you know?
Right.
You might be thinking like, okay, I've heard all this before,
Right.
but trust me, this goes way beyond like Sunday school basics.
Right.
Ready to really explore this?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, cool. So, right off the bat, she kind of challenges this assumption that we all know how to love God.
Yeah.
You know, and she points out that a lot of people's actions like don't actually line up with what they're saying.
Yeah, it's that actions speak louder than words kind of thing. Right?
Exactly.
Like we say we love God, but then, are we really embodying that?
And that's that disconnect that she really dives into.
Yeah.
And but before we like get into the nitty-gritty of all that,
Mm-hmm.
she reminds us of something really beautiful,
Yeah.
which is that, God's love for us is like unshakable.
Yeah.
She even quotes Romans 8.3829,
Okay.
and it's basically saying nothing can separate us from that love.
Mm-hmm.
Not our mistakes, not our doubts, nothing.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. It really makes you think about, like how often do we maybe get in our own way
Oh, totally.
of actually experiencing that love fully?
Absolutely.
Just all of our own insecurities and like,
all the baggage we carry around.
yeah, all the baggage.
The things we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That maybe aren't even true.
Right.
That
Yeah.
keep us from really opening up.
Yeah, and so that kind of leads perfectly into her next point, which is, okay, so how do we actually show that love?
Right.
Because it's not enough to just talk the talk, right?
No, absolutely not.
Our actions need to reflect that love, and
Yeah.
she brings up Matthew 7.21,
Okay.
where it's like saying, Lord, Lord isn't going to cut it.
It's interesting because
Yeah.
it's like we can all relate to that even in our human relationships.
Right,
If you tell your partner, I love you,
yeah,
but your actions don't show it,
right.
it's meaningless, right?
It's the same
Like,
thing.
with God.
So true. So then she's like, okay, how do we move beyond those empty words?
Yeah, how do we actually love it?
Yeah, and she points to Matthew 22.37,
Okay.
where it says, we should love God with all our heart and soul and mind.
Our whole being.
Our whole being.
Every aspect of ourselves.
Like, we need to bring our whole selves to the table.
Yeah, and I think that's where it gets really challenging.
Right.
Because it's not just about,
Yeah.
showing up on Sundays
Yeah.
or saying a quick prayer before bed.
Yeah.
It's about
It's about making it,
integrating it into our daily lives.
Yes.
Into every decision we make.
yeah, and how we treat other people.
Exactly.
And how we approach our work.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
It's like a thread that runs through everything.
Yeah, and Keila uses this really, really interesting story from the Bible
Okay.
to kind of illustrate this point.
Yeah.
And it's the story of Peter
Peter denying Jesus.
denying Jesus.
That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Can you imagine
I can't even imagine.
being one of his closest disciples
Yeah.
and then denying, him?
3 times?
Not once, not twice, but 3
A
times.
time.
The weight of that betrayal
Oh, my gosh.
must have been crushing.
But what I find so powerful about that story
Mhm.
is that even after like messing up that bad,
Yeah,
Jesus extends forgiveness
Right.
and gives Peter a chance to like prove his love through action.
it's the power of grace, right?
Yeah.
It's like even in our darkest moments,
Yeah.
there's always a path back
Yeah.
to connection
Redemption
and
and
love. And it's fascinating, too, how Jesus kind of leads Peter towards that path,
he doesn't just say, okay, you're forgiven, you're good.
right?
It's like,
He asked him 3 times.
yes, do you love
Do
me?
you love me?
And each time the response is, feed my sheep.
Feed my
So
sheep.
there's definitely like a deeper meaning there.
And a
Feed
physics.
my sheep.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, if you truly love me,
Yeah.
show it through compassion and care for others.
It's like he's revealing his own love language in a way.
Yeah.
Acts of service.
Acts of service, right.
Yeah.
It's not just about, loving me in this abstract way.
Right.
It's about like going out there
Yeah.
and putting that love into action.
About showing up for others
Yeah.
in tangible ways.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack that more when we come back.
Okay, sounds good.
It's like feeding his sheep becomes like this whole metaphor, right?
Yeah,
For how we show love for God.
absolutely.
And it's not about like, grand gestures or anything. It's
No.
about those everyday little acts of kindness and service that
Mm.
we do for the people around us.
It's about like looking outward,
Yeah.
and not being so focused on ourselves.
Totally. And it makes me think about, You know, those times when
Mm.
you feel kind of disconnected, you're
Yeah,
like, is God even there?
right.
Maybe it's because we've become too inward,
Yeah,
you know?
too focused on our own little world, and
Yeah.
we've lost sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah, and that connection to something bigger,
Exactly.
which, you know, can be pretty overwhelming sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
how do we possibly, like, live up to this idea of, like, loving God with our whole being?
It's a tall order.
It's a
It
lot,
is.
you know?
I think that's where grace comes in. It's not
Yeah.
about being perfect.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all on a journey.
Yeah, we're going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
We're going to fall
We're just
short.
human.
We're human. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly.
Like that story with Peter, he
Mhm.
made a huge mistake,
Huge.
but he was forgiven
And given another
and
chance,
given another chance.
which is so powerful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful reminder that we don't have to be perfect
No.
to be worthy of love
Or forgiveness.
or forgiveness.
Always available to us.
And that love is always available to us.
Always.
Yeah.
It's a wellspring of hope and healing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we allow that love to flow through us,
Yeah.
we become conduits of that same healing
Yeah.
for others.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is.
Right.
Our love for God inspires us to love and serve others,
Yeah.
which in turn creates a more compassionate world.
Yeah. So if we want to move beyond just talking about love and
Yeah.
actually like live it,
Right.
where do we even begin?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is, because it's easy to get caught up in the grand ideas.
Yeah.
But how do we actually put it into practice?
Well, I think it starts to self-reflection.
Okay.
You know, taking a moment to really honestly assess
Yeah.
your relationship with God.
Okay.
Where are your strengths?
Hmm.
Where do you see room for growth?
Okay.
What are the unique gifts and talents
Yeah.
that you could bring to the table?
It's like taking an inventory of our hearts.
Yeah.
And being like, am I really living?
Am I
like,
walking the walk?
Am I walking the walk?
Yeah.
Not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And from there, you can start to identify
Okay.
specific areas where you can make changes.
Okay. Like what?
Well, maybe it's dedicating more time
Mm-hmm.
to prayer or meditation,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
or perhaps it's volunteering in your community,
Yeah.
or simply making a conscious effort
Mm-hmm.
to be more patient
Yeah.
and compassionate
In our daily lives.
in your daily interactions
Yeah.
with everyone you encounter.
Yeah, those small acts of love and kindness.
It's the little things.
Little things add up.
They really do.
Right.
It's not about trying to be perfect
Yeah.
or accomplish some grand feats.
Right.
It's about making progress one step at a time.
Okay, so maybe today I'll focus on being more present
Mm-hmm.
and patient with my family.
Yeah.
You know, even when things are crazy.
That's a good one.
And then tomorrow, maybe I'll actually like listen to my friend who's
Yeah.
going through something.
Just
and
be there for them.
Just be there.
Offer a listening ear.
It all adds up.
It creates a ripple effect
Yeah.
of love and kindness.
Yeah, and it makes the world a little bit better.
A little bit brighter.
A little bit brighter.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, right?
I think so.
And it's like we're all on this journey together, right? Of
Yeah.
figuring out how to love God and express that love.
We're all learning and growing.
Yeah, and we don't have to do it alone.
Absolutely.
We have each other, we have our communities,
Right.
and we have God's love to guide us.
And that's what makes Keila's video so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just some, theological lecture.
Right.
It's like a personal invitation
Yep.
to really explore what this means for us.
In our own lives.
Yeah, in our own lives.
Yeah.
And to really look in the mirror and say,
Yeah.
are my actions matching up with my beliefs?
Am I walking the walk? Yeah.
It's not about checking off boxes or,
Right.
following some set of rules.
Yeah, it's about like coming from the heart.
It's about cultivating a heart
Yeah.
that's truly open to loving and serving God.
Yeah, and it all starts with that first step, which is
Mhm.
recognizing that unconditional love that
Yeah.
God has for us.
And once we grasp that,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
It really does.
Like it just naturally spills over
Yeah.
into everything we do.
And we start to see those opportunities, like she says, to feed God's sheep
Everywhere.
everywhere, right?
It's not just about, grand gestures.
Right.
It's the little things too.
Yeah, it could be just like, a smile to a stranger,
Holding the door open for someone.
offering to help someone with their groceries.
Listening to a friend who's having a hard time.
Yeah, there's so many ways to do it.
Endless possibilities.
It's about finding what speaks to your heart
Yeah,
and what feels authentic for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that
Mm-hmm.
the more we give, the more we receive.
Yeah, it's that beautiful reciprocity of love, right?
It's like a boomerang.
Yeah.
You throw it out there and it comes back to you.
Yeah, and it just reminds us that we're all connected.
And we are.
And even our smallest actions
Mhm.
can make a difference.
They can have a ripple effect.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to
Mhm.
leave you with this question.
Okay.
What does feeding God's sheep look like in your life?
That's a good one.
What are those unique gifts that you have
Hmm.
that you can share with the world?
maybe it's something you're already doing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a new calling.
Yeah.
But whatever it is,
Yeah.
know that you're making a difference.
You are.
And you're not alone.
You're not alone.
God's love is always with you.
Always there.
And so are we.
So go out there, deep divers,
Yeah.
and let your love shine.
The world needs it.
The world needs it.